Congressman Smith, thanks for being back with us here on the Hill on NewsNation. Once again, we appreciate your time, sir, as always. Let me start with your statement and what you released the other day. You said the president can no longer clearly, articulately, and strongly make his case to the American people. But as we've all seen, Congressman, it seems as if the president is defiant right now and dug in. Do you think he's listening right now? Do you think he's being selfish? How would you describe where the president is right now?
Well, the two things that are most important here is, number one, I don't think this is over yet. A strong consensus has emerged in the last day or so that if President Biden's at the top of the ticket, we will lose badly in November. We've seen a couple more people come out and say so expressly. You had George Clooney's op-ed this morning, which I thought was incredibly strong. I can't say what's in the president's head. I can tell you that of the broad Democratic family, okay, I'm going everywhere from your grassroots knock-on-doors person up to an elected United States senator. About 90% of those people are absolutely convinced that we have a much stronger chance to win in November if we have a different candidate.
And you are of the belief, because Nancy Pelosi said today, Congressman, that she believes that President Biden can win. Your colleague in the Senate, Michael Bennet, has said that it'll be a landslide, he believes, with Donald Trump, for Donald Trump. Is that the category that you're in, that you think that this could potentially be really bad, and not only a Democratic loss for the presidency, but in the House and the Senate? Are you there?
Well, let me put this in more precise terms. I'm not going to make any bold prediction about he will win, he will lose. What I'm going to say, and what is absolutely obvious, is we have a much better chance to win, certainly at the presidential level, and I would submit all the way down the ballot with a different candidate. And I don't think that point is debatable. So when does he need to drop out by? Now, look, I forget what the math is, but, in time for us to pick a different candidate during the convention. So a couple weeks. Okay. Look, the delegates are picked. I don't know, there's roughly 4,000 delegates, and they can vote for somebody else.
So if you do need another candidate, do you believe, Congressman, at this point in time, that Kamala Harris, the current vice president, is the next best option? Or do you think it's someone else?
Well, yeah, two important things about that. The honest answer to your question is yes. I think Kamala Harris is the strongest candidate that we have as an alternative. But again, that's up to the delegates. And if they ask me, I would recommend Kamala Harris. I think she's an incredibly strong and effective speaker, former prosecutor. I think she served as vice president and served the president very well. But look, we got an incredible depth of talent in this party. And one of the things we need to do is bury the myth that Joe Biden is the only person that can beat Donald Trump. There is a strong aversion to Donald Trump in this country. Now, Joe Biden was a strong candidate in 2020, but there were a couple, at least a dozen other people who I think could have been strong candidates in 2020 as well. So we can beat Donald Trump with a different candidate. We've got a bunch of options, a bunch of governors, a bunch of senators, So I think we should pick one of those, and that'll put us in a better position.
Congressman, one of the things that I respect about you, and I say this all the time to our audience here on NewsNation and to those listening to us on SiriusXM about you, is you are a serious lawmaker. You are taken seriously in this town. There's the non-serious, there's the few that are serious, and you're among them as the top Democrat on the House Armed Services Committee. So in that position as the ranking member, the top Democrat on the Armed Services Committee, Congressman, do you believe right now that President Biden, who is the current commander-in-chief, is fit to serve?
That's quite the buildup, by the way. Yes, I do. There's a different thing between serving as president and having to run what would be, for anybody, against Donald Trump in this moment, one of the hardest campaigns that you could possibly imagine. It's never easy running for president. This is going to be
isn't being the commander? But isn't being the commander-in-chief the ultimate right? So here's sort of the disconnect, and what I'd like to get at is
two different things. I heard your question. If I could, you had a long build up to your question there. Give me at least a second to answer it. You're talking about two different things. The president's making decisions. He's doing the job. He's got a great team around him as president. As candidate, He's got to get out there all across the country, take questions, stand up, be able to articulate a complicated message, respond to questions. Totally different thing than being able to be a capable commander-in-chief.
Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.